Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all the latest news that happened during the week of mobile and answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Now, let me know if I'm coming in clear. It seems like a little bit of a delay more than usual, so let me know. I'm trying to cut off everything possible, but okay, now it seems to be going a little bit better. Let me know if it's coming in good and clear, or if it's a little glitchy or slow right now. I tried to turn off all the Wi-Fi's, but I had one tablet downloading a bunch of stuff because I did get the new Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. So this big boy over here is a tablet, and it's ridiculous when even compared to the Tab S7 Plus. Kind of see it. I'll show in the video, but yeah, it's ridiculous. This is a 12-inch plus tablet. I think it's 12.4, and it looks so tiny when compared to this one. So yeah, Smart Switch wasn't working. I had an issue with it, so I'm going to be having to redo that again just because it was stuck. It got stuck at 66%. One thing I have found with Smart Switch, a kind of workaround, is that basically sometimes it's better to do the apps by themselves. So transfer everything but the apps in the home screen, because the home screen is going to have all your apps, and then do the apps. But so let's get started with the news, which the first one is a big one, and it is discussing Samsung. So let's get to it. So Samsung is caught in a scandal, and it's funny because I've done 2 videos about this performance on the Newegg channel, which I do often 2 videos for. If you haven't checked out those 2 videos, go ahead and go to YouTube, Newegg Studios, and you'll see 2 videos I recently did. The first one was the benchmark results for the S22 Ultra, and the second one was how to overclock the S22 Ultra. And then this report came out, and it's very, very interesting. So what happened was that Samsung is basically caught in a scandal because, and they're not the first ones. OnePlus has been caught doing this. Other manufacturers have been caught doing this before. It's just the way Samsung did it was, again, a little, don't like it. So basically what Samsung did was that they're actually limiting a lot of your apps, but they're overperforming more than any other time when running certain apps. So there's like 100 apps that they will run faster on more than anything else, such as benchmark tests and certain games. And if you're on that list, hey, you're getting a faster S22 Ultra than any other app is. But if you're on social media per se, you are getting a very limited S22 Ultra. Now, here's the thing. It might not seem like a bad deal, and that's what Samsung tried to spin in their response. Like, look, we're doing this for our consumers. We are, doing this for the needs, and the reason we're doing this is because most of the time they don't need the performance that you would need, and consumers want battery life more. So while that is true in a sense, like, you don't need a high performance when watching Instagram videos. You don't need a high performance for that. You don't need a high performance when scrolling through Twitter. But the thing that it was, the way this was done should have been done better, and it should have been given more of an option. Now, if you do watch our how to overclock this phone, you don't have this issue because it maximizes it so it's full on, full time. But again, this is the optimized version. So the difference is that basically Samsung is going to release an update that they have already stated now that will allow you to control which games or other software is going to be okay. So how this was kind of found out, it was found out, in their code, but it was being seen that if you got a certain game, it didn't play well, but other games did. So basically what we had here was, especially games that weren't on the list, played particularly slow, and more slow than you'd expect from a phone of this caliber. So up to the point where an S21 and S20 was actually outperforming the S22 with this same game, because again, it didn't make the list, and therefore Samsung didn't give you the full capability of your processor and graphics card. So yeah, that's really what happened. And the repercussion, one, has been that Samsung did say they're going to do an over-the-air update. When, we don't know. We don't know if it's going to be this month, how soon it will exactly be. But we're going to get an over-the-air update. And when that happens, we'll see if it's more intuitive, if it gives you the ability. For me, it's just simple. If I play a game, I want full performance. I don't want anything to be slowed down. So any game I need full performance on. But very few apps I would want minimal performance, right? All social media can have minimal performance. Don't really need it. Maybe when I'm editing in social media, maybe that. If I happen to do a lot of editing in Instagram or TikTok or any of those, then maybe, yeah, I do want some more performance. But otherwise, I don't really want performance in social media. I put that to a crawl, fine. And then when you are using maybe other aspects of the phone that you don't really need it to be on, I don't need my processor to be going crazy for a banking app. Like, I don't need that. So yeah, so all these things are differences, I would say, that people are going through and people are checking out. And I'm very curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. Do you guys think that, like me, I just think that if Samsung had just stated that from the front and allowed us control over it, hey, no harm, no foul. But the fact that they try to do it in this way, and, it was found out basically without them just letting people know, I think that's what really is where the distrust came. So much so that certain benchmark, and this has happened before. Before it was with S22 and what's the graphics card one? 3D Mark. Have done this before with other brands, and now they're doing it with Samsung. So Geekbench has banned the latest Samsung phones from doing their benchmark, and they're basically doing this because they are basically like, hey, we do not want to represent these numbers if they're not actually representing what numbers you're going to be getting outside of our app. Now, the irony there is that, well, benchmarks don't really represent anything, really. I mean, yes, they represent how much, code your CPU can process and how much, graphics performance can be done by your GPU. But do they really represent day-to-day stuff for an average person? No, they don't. I have long said, and I still think this is true, I have long said that I do believe that Apple specifically caters towards Geekbench in terms of performance. And they know what the secret sauce is for Geekbench. It's kind of the same thing how Huawei really catered towards what DxOMark really thinks is good. So it basically, if you know what they're looking for, then you can just design to pass the test, right? You don't have to, we're just going to do an overall great performance. No, we're just going to do a performance that really caters towards what your test is. Because if we just study the test and we perform well on the test, then that means we're the best. And I feel like that's been a long time stuff in all these test results. I feel that's why, no matter how much credibility is given to the top dogs, 3D Benchmark, Geekbench, and S22, in terms of the mobile industry, there's always new ones coming out, because if you learned what they want, you can play it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, but this is the big scandal, and these were some of the repercussions. Let me know what you guys think about it. Do you guys care about benchmark tests? Are you a big fan of benchmark tests? Or, do you care about how... Do you want your phone going full maximum speed, maximum performance at all times? Or would you want some kind of optimization? Let me know in the comment section. All right, now this was a very interesting thing. Now this reminds me of the new Sony earbuds that just came out, that basically are open ear, in-ear headphones. And how you actually can pause it is by tapping the little, I don't know what this part is, this triangle where your ear is, but you tap this and it feels the vibration of your tap, and therefore it interacts with it. So, that being said, Google is going to take this to a whole other realm. And basically, you can tap 2 areas on your wrist. And you can either tap in front of your wrist or behind your wrist. And if you tap there or swipe there, you are effectively going to be able to do things, such as like skipping and pausing tracks, like doing this kind of stuff. It's really an interesting technology. It just has to be seen how it's really going to work. The reason why is because I always reference, the dearly departed LG and their claw, and it didn't work hardly ever. Now, to be fair, when we did have a proximity sensor, there was a great app that I always used to say, I called it using the Force. On that, like if you say using the Force on Android, my videos will still usually come up. And it basically, it doesn't exist anymore because most phones don't have a proximity sensor that work this way anymore. But basically, it was something called, I think, remote control or gesture control. I think it was gesture control. And the idea was that you could go like this when there was a proximity sensor there. And essentially what it would do is that your proximity sensor would, oh, there's something near me, and it swiped from left to right, then I will skip the track. There's something hovering over me, I will pause. That technology worked perfect. I used to have that. That was back in the Galaxy S3, S4, S5, S6 days. And then when we got rid of the bezels, essentially, and we started going punch hole and teardrop, we lost that older proximity sensor. And what happens now, for those of you who don't know, is that the proximity sensor only turns on during a call, basically. Otherwise, it won't turn on, and therefore you can't really use the gesture control like you used to. So yeah, it was a really fun thing, but this is really reminiscent of it for me. And again, it's the same kind of thing. You tap so that it feels vibration, or you swipe up, you swipe down, and again, it takes that pressure. Now, the curious thing is how much pressure it's going to be, what kind of sensor is going to go around, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think it's very interesting, but I just definitely have to see how this tech works. Is it going to be a cool gesture control, or is it going to be the claw? Let me know what you guys think. All right, so Apple's event was officially announced, the announcement, and basically we are going to be getting it at the beginning of April, and now I forgot what day it was. Forgot what day it was. I know it's the beginning of April. Oh, never mind, it's March. Why did I think it was April 8th? Okay, so it's March 8th, so it's in 2 days. Totally got that wrong. Shows you how much I care. But basically, what we're expecting at this event is an iPhone SE3. So new iPhone SE3, same kind of iPhone SE that we've been getting. No, there's going to be no big revamp in terms of changing everything and making it more modern. No, it's going to look the same as the other iPhone SEs did, just with 5G this time. And it'll be around the same price though, so there you go. And then we have the iPad Air. So the iPad Air is going to be coming out as well. And again, it's a new iPad Air, again with 5G, and that's the main difference. Then we have new Macs and possibly a new monitor. Now the monitor is kind of interesting because LG did recently release one. Linus Tech Tips covered it. And basically we saw that LG has come up with a monitor that basically has a similar quality level to Apple's ProRes one, and it is so much cheaper. So I'm very curious to see if they will release a new monitor, and if so, what it will have and everything else. Now there is a rumor, and I say this is a rumor because I personally don't think it's coming out until the end of this year or beginning of next year, and the announcement will be in September, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Definitely could happen. That the VR headset or AR headset could be announced. I don't think it's going to be happening, but we'll have to see what will happen, really. That's the thing. It's really something that it's just, we'll see how this maneuvers, because of the fact that if this doesn't do as well in that kind of stuff, then it's very curious if it's released now and then, or sorry, rather announced now or teased now, and then we'll get the big announcement later. Now, the reason why I don't think that we're going to get anything about the VR and AR system is because the earliest I think we'll hear possibly about it is WWDC, which is in June. And the reason why it makes more sense there is because of the fact that that's a developers conference and you're going to need people to develop for it. So there might be a developmental platform that they announce at WWDC, which would make more sense than just like, hey, this is coming later this year. And I don't know, like they're nowhere near ready to ship. So I don't think we're going to get it, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. And then in the last bit of news, I think this is really interesting because it is more and more about the streaming wars. So two things could happen this year to affect the streaming wars. Now, if you don't know what the streaming wars are, it is a war of different brands right now going to war to make us buy their streaming service. Now, obviously, Netflix had the big lead for a long time. Disney Plus shot up to really combat them and is looking on track to match them within the next 2 years, which is insane because of it's only had less than 2 years out. So we have that. We have HBO Max that is, I think, in second or third place. Because technically Prime Video, I believe, is in third place because of the fact that obviously everyone that has an Amazon account, Prime account, gets Amazon Prime Video for free. Then you have, of course, Paramount Plus and Peacock. So there's lots of different ones. Well, Disney just took a very interesting first step, and while doing so, something else happened that will lead to their next step. So Disney said that come later this year, it's expected around the fall time, possibly could come by the end of summer, Disney Plus is going to have a cheaper ad-supported solution. Now, the reason why this is so crazy is because of the fact that Disney Plus is still $7.99. So they're already cheaper than everyone else pretty much. I mean, they are very affordable, especially for the amount of content they have. They also recently made a big move in that they are bringing the more adult-focused content, such as The Defenders, Punisher, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Some of those are very, like, TVMA. Now, they could definitely be editing them down to make them more appropriate. I don't imagine we'll have a sex scene in Disney Plus, but who knows? It's possible, and it did happen in one of those shows. So it's very interesting, right? What could happen? And will we be seeing curse words? Will we be seeing blood? There's very interesting things that could happen here. But so they're announcing a more adult theme shows and content. Then what we're gonna also get is NBC is terminating their Hulu deal. Now, the thing you need to know about Hulu is Hulu was originally split between, I believe, 5 companies. And I could be wrong on which ones are still in it. WB was one of them. I believe they're completely out as of the merger with Fox. Fox was one of them. NBC was another one. Disney was another one. And I don't know if Paramount was in it. Let's just say it was. So 4 or 5 studios owned Hulu, owned shares of Hulu. The 2 biggest ones were Disney and Fox. And combined, they owned over 50%. Well, guess what happened? Disney bought out Fox. So effectively, when that happened, Disney was now the majority owner of Hulu. Not only that, but when that happened, I'm almost positive it was Warner Brothers. But Warner Brothers basically bought out, like they were like, all right, you buy us out, buy our shares, and here see ya. So that happened. NBC, of course, started Peacock as a streaming service, and shows that they have on Hulu, they rather get back and put it on their service. So, such as Saturday Night Live, The Voice, Law and Order, all these shows will no longer be available after 2023 now. That's when their contract ends, and they're pulling out everything now that they can, and then those will be the last remnants till then. So, all the other content will be taken out in September of this year. But here's the thing, is it's a very likely possibility that Disney and Hulu could join eventually. It could be as early as this year. It could be later, it could be whatever. But that's the whole point, is that Disney and Hulu, Disney could basically just take Hulu and bring all of its content in. And now they've already set the precedent for having TVMA content with all of the Marvel shows from Netflix coming onto Disney Plus as of next week. So that's one thing, is Disney Plus could assimilate Hulu by the end of this year. And that would be huge, obviously, because you're going to get all the content that Hulu had. Plus, you could even have live TV on Disney Plus. So it makes sense for it to have one streaming service. It does not make sense for one brand to have 2 streaming services that are competing against each other, essentially. So it makes more sense to have it integrated. Sports is a little different, so I can see ESPN Plus still saying its own entity, but Hulu and Disney Plus don't really make sense in the long run. Now, the other thing that's happening right now that, if you didn't know, can affect the streaming wars as well, and that is Discovery is buying Warner Media from AT&T. So AT&T got in a big scandal at the end of last year, basically doing day in and date for all of their major blockbuster movies going to HBO Max the same day they would go to the movie theater. This, of course, crippled a lot of the movies, and the performance was really bad, especially when you compared movies that didn't do this and that did go straight to the movie theaters. Obviously, none were on the same caliber, but, movies like The Eternals, movies like Spider-Man, movies like all of these different movies that came out that got a really good box office because they weren't on the streaming service on the same day. And so much so that they've had to pay millions and millions to different creators. They had to pay, I think, over $200 million to Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman when this happened. So they had to pay them $200 million because of this action, because of the legality of it. Same thing happened with Scarlett Johansson and Disney Plus, and that's why you never saw another Marvel movie go to Disney Plus first, like Shang-Chi and other ones like that, because again, they didn't want to get sued again. So they're in a huge legal trouble, and AT&T just doesn't want to deal with it, and they just rather get out of the business because AT&T is notorious for buying companies like DirecTV and messing it up, and then just we're out. So Discovery is buying Warner Media. When that happens, then we're also going to possibly see Discovery Plus and HBO Max merge. And I believe the new company is going to be called Discovery, Warner Discovery. I believe that's the new company's name. I think they could do so much better. I don't know. What would you call Discovery and Warner Media? What would you call them merging? Obviously, you can have WB, Discovery, HBO, whatever you want to be the main name. I think Warner Brothers is so iconic that I would just personally name the new company Warner Brothers. I think it has more clout than Discovery does. But let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, and that was the news for this week. Now, without further ado, let's get to your questions. Again, if you have a question that you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right. Hi from Augusta, Georgia. Mine arrives on April 15th. Which one? The S22 or the Tab S8 Ultra? Which one? What's up? Watching AEW Revolution. I'll catch the replay. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm gonna watch the Revolution after doing this one. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, thank you, Quiet Storm. So Quiet Storm did post our Newegg benchmark test and the overclocking test. Now, here's the thing. Overclocking the S22 does still work, actually. Even on the benchmark test, we saw a huge increase, especially in the Antutu benchmark, which does everything, CPU, GPU, memory, all that kind of stuff. So we saw a huge increase in that. So definitely still works. Oh, and Mike, I just saw the clear case video. I may get the Fusion X case question. How do you like the feel of about the Taurus case or Whitestone case? So I haven't used the Taurus case, but the Whitestone case I thought was okay. I did not include it in that video as well because I already had them. I really like, and you're gonna see another video come out tomorrow, which is, or I think it'll be tomorrow. That will be the best chargers and best. I think it's just chargers and battery packs for the Galaxy S22 series. And I really do like the Whitestone charger very much. Very much so that it will be one of the chargers that I travel with and one of the ones that stick in my backpack personally. So I don't know of any kind of higher remarks that I can give than that. I love Whitestone's glass and I love Whitestone's new charger and that USB cable. That USB cable has really fast transfer rates, Thunderbolt level transfer rates. I haven't checked to see if it's just USB 4.0 or what exactly is it that it's that fast, but 5 gigs transfer speed is insanely fast. So definitely appreciate that for sure. Priority mode in game launcher, game plugins for S21 Ultra, S10 Plus, ZF3 use in regular games. Great. I think I definitely used the standard game launcher things, but I don't know if I changed any settings when it came to that. The game booster settings, I'll look into it more. Yeah, so I always have the game optimization for performance. So yeah, that's what I usually have it set as, but that's all I can think of. Like I remember they used to have like an optimization plugin as well, but yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the gesture control. Gesture control was the thing back in the day, man. When I used to drive, that's how I would control my music. And, you know, it was really cool when I was single and everything like that. I would just be like, boom. Like, just boom. And with the head tilt. But yeah, it was really cool. Like, they were just like, what's going on? You know, so that was the move back in the day. That was a move back in the day. Um, Flossy Cardo has a video on the ear touch buds. Yeah, no. Again, there really are. They really are definitely very interesting for sure, to say the least. So I think those earbuds are really interesting. For me, the obvious solution for wanting to hear the world around you while still listening to your stuff is having one earbud in, right? That's the obvious solution. But I get it. You do want two earbuds in a lot of times. And also, we have a video coming out soon. I know you see Deadpool's head over there. But basically, there is a video coming out soon that's going to be talking about running earbuds that are awesome. So they're the best that I would say you would want to wear for working out or anything like that. So I'll definitely go over those. Best definitely for bikers. Like if you bike or run, those are the earbuds you should get. So yeah, we'll be having that content soon. Already recorded the content, just need to film some A-roll. I think if Apple had caught cheating on these benchmark tests, everyone, including Ricky, would not be so charitable in their reaction. I mean, I would call them out for sure the same way. And again, Apple is a marketing company. So that's why I think they cater to the benchmark test, which is different than what Samsung did. Samsung basically cheated. So that is a lot different in comparison. So what Samsung did was cheating because they only outperform on these tests. Whereas I think Apple just caters towards what the tests actually calculate and do well at those things. And I think the way you can kind of tell it is when you get Apple in different tests, like actual editing that isn't, their own Final Cut, again, that they have priority over, that isn't specific ones like that, then yeah, it's a little bit different in terms of it for sure. But yeah, it's just, again, a belief. I do not have any proof of it or anything like that. It's just I know Apple well enough to know that they are a marketing company and they love getting those numbers, and being able to advertise those numbers are so important to them. It's why, even like right now, Apple's processors outperform the Snapdragons, right? That's clear. But when they didn't, they would still always just say, it is the fastest processor ever on an iPhone. And therein lied the irony, right? Because they couldn't say phone anymore, period. So their marketing machine just said, oh, well, it's the fastest processor ever on an iPhone. There you go. So it's always just funny to me because it's the way they market. It's like it's a genius. It's a genius in its execution always. And again, the reasons why I don't like Apple is the reasons why I still admire Apple. Is always that. Apple has been caught before, only they throttle so people would upgrade. The battery stuff is definitely, obviously, was a huge scandal, and Apple did get called out for it, for sure. And I was just the stuff on the trick. I mean, again, when that happened, I said, of course they were. Of course they were. Because that's Apple. That is totally Apple. So, yeah. Hey, Ray. Nice seeing you on the channel, man. Best channel, brother. Thank you very much. Love your workout stuff, man. Always catch from time to time. All the best to you and your family. Thank you, R. Rossin. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Watch your video today about the clear cases. I have a UAG Plyo, and it has UV coating. What are your takes on the Samsung Go OS? I think that's the scandal, right? I talked about that one. But as for the UAG case, funny enough, UAG reached out to me like 2 weeks after everyone had sent me their cases. The two cases you will not see in probably any of the case videos. I still have two videos coming up for cases. One is the cutest cases, and one is the most protective cases. I am really, really trying to wait for the most protective ones because probably, one that should definitely be in there is Otterbox and UAG. And neither of them have sent me their cases yet, even though they said they would. Otterbox was supposed to send it to me definitely by a week at least ago. And UAG, again, they contacted me like on Wednesday, and I'm like, look, I'm already gonna start releasing videos. If you can get it to me as soon as possible, no guarantees, but I'll try to get it, on there. They haven't sent it to me yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if they've started the process. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, those are two case manufacturers. I definitely try to think of all case manufacturers, and I always try to reach out to as many that I have the contact information of, because I want to give you guys an overall, like, okay, these are all the cases out there. Which ones are the best? And although I'll always show all the cases, not all the cases that are sent to me, because there's some that I just won't. But although I'll show many of the cases that are sent to me, at that same time, I'm only going to tell you always at the end, always watch the ending and of any of my case videos, because I will always tell you guys which ones are my favorites personally. Now, I'll always say, oh, well, if you want, like, if you wanted a case that will never turn yellow and is a perfect clear case, Spec has the best, their Presidio clear case will never turn yellow. Spigen, the one I have on here right now, I'm testing it. I like it. I like because the kickstand. I said that in the video. The kickstand is really good, and it's a little bit more protective than the Samsung one. But this is going to turn yellow. How do I know? Well, it happened to my old one. I try to make sure that when I'm telling you guys these things, stuff you guys can use. So I'll always tell you, like, look, this is going to be good, bad, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, those videos are coming soon. I mean, I have plenty of other videos to go up before then. So, I have this really, really cool one that I can't wait to show you guys. Give you a little preview of it. Oh, knocked over my Google. This really cool thing right here. This is a legit Boss webcam from Anchor. This light turns on and everything, and it is so cool. You can close it. So for privacy, all this cool stuff to show you guys. This is definitely one of them. I'm going to be doing a gaming review for the S22 Ultra for Newegg, so that's going to be coming over there. Again, best chargers video is going to be coming. Oh, this one. All right, I know not everyone has a PlayStation 5 and everything like that, but this is so legit. This I just got in. It is the first Pro controller for the PlayStation 5. Again, this was one that it was so hard to get. Like, I was on the wait list forever for this thing. It was one of those things where you had to, everyone signed in, and it was kind of like an AMC movie ticket for a Marvel thing, where you had to wait 30 minutes only to be told that it was sold out. So it was a whole thing. But yeah, so lots of cool content definitely coming that we'll be showing you guys for sure. Let's see. WB Discovery or WB would be the best. Disney Plus in other countries has mature content. That's interesting to know, because again, they don't really have mature content in the US. It could be because of different images or how people see Disney differently overseas, but very curious. That's very curious to know. The Tab S8 is the one you're waiting on. I like my Tab S7. Tab S7 is still great. I actually mentioned that the Tab S7 Plus actually has an advantage over the Tab 8 Plus from what I've heard. And I said that in the video. Is there any RGB keyboard that you can get for the Tab S7? Yeah, there's plenty of third-party ones. Unfortunately, I have not tested them. I do have the official Samsung keyboard. And the one downside is no, it does not have a light up keyboard. That it does kind of suck. But that is one advantage that this one has. This one does have a light up keyboard. So very, very cool to see that. And it's on right now. So yeah, very, very happy to see that. I cannot wait to really put this through its paces, guys. I am so excited for that tablet. Like, so excited. All right. Upgraded from the S20 Plus to the S22. Doesn't feel like a big upgrade. Thoughts? I know the camera would be better. The camera is a big difference overall to it, especially because the S20, well, you had the S20 Plus, not even the S20 Ultra. So that depth of field, this effect, basically, where you can have this and it blurs out everything in the background, that's what the camera can do on the S22 Ultra. Just watch my video on how to make sure you get that done, because out of the box, it doesn't come like that now. So yeah, there's lots of stuff for sure that would be better. The camera is one of the big things. Your battery life will definitely be better too. Again, watch the video on how to get 5 hours longer battery life, because you definitely get it last long. By the way, for those of you wondering, I am going to start testing the battery starting tomorrow. So hopefully by the end of the week, I'm going to give you, after all the tweaks that I did, what is now the battery life like. I'm going to do 1 day LTE only and 1 day 5G and tell you guys the difference. Let's see. What do you do with electronics that lasted but just got too old and has no trade-in value? One of those people went from the Note 2 to an S9. The best thing to do would just be recycle it, recycle it so that you can take it to a store like Best Buy and other places that do recycle electronics. And that's the best thing you can do for it. I mean, could you do other stuff for it? Yeah, I mean, look, there's creative things you can do with old technology. Old smartphones can always become nanny cams. You can literally mount it, plug it in, and have it on at all times, and you can have something remote access it, turning it effectively into a camera for your home. Is it the best thing ever? Not always necessarily, but there are things you can do with them, but not always as much. Note 2 would still have the IR blaster. It might not be updated as much anymore, of course. Or wait, no, I think I don't know if the Note 2 had the IR blaster, but like the S4 did. Oh man, I forgot. But yeah, so that is one thing that I know a lot of people miss, and the older phones had it. So yeah, there's things you can do with it, but at the very least you should do is definitely recycle it. Whoa, I didn't know White Dome made chargers. Yeah, check out the White Dome dome glass video. That one I showed the chargers at the end and the case at the end, but the charger was really good. And again, it'll be featured again in the chargers video that'll come out tomorrow or Tuesday. The head tilt force is strong with you. Oh yeah, the head tilt was passed down from generations. My son has a head tilt, and he uses it effectively. He has that, just like that tilt. What do you think about playing games from your phone to your TV? Well, there are certain games like that. Uno is one of them, and You Don't Know Jack is another one. They're basically usually party games where you can interact on your phone, and then everyone has a big screen on the TV. But yeah, they do make games like that. Those are two examples of them. Sorry, my contacts are just bothering me right now. But yeah, so those are two examples of them. I like that, pal. Android and Apple is powerful right now. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ricky, why is everyone making a big deal of Samsung overclocking and not making the phone run at top performance? Is there no way everyone uses the phone at top performance all the time? It still has not changed my mind on Samsung. I can't wait for the S22 Ultra red color, 1 terabyte. Look at your clear cases. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much. So why is everyone upset? It's just the way it happened. They were hiding it, and even if it makes sense to do it, they should have told people. So yeah, that's it. It was hidden, and it it was hidden with the ability not to control it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, people want, okay, wait, if you're gonna be doing this and you have this hidden list of 100 apps that are going to allow full performance, but no other apps are, why not let us control that list? Why not let, again, like I said, every game, every video editing app, everything like that, I want to run at full top speed. What if it's not on that 100 list? Well, then I'm screwed. I'm SOL. So that is why I think people are having not the best result towards it. And they should be called out on it, because again, they should have just, hey, developers can apply for this list, to be a part of this list, to run at peak performance, or else we're going to throttle it. If they'd done anything like that, I think it would have been fine. I don't think it's a big scandal as to protest them, or like, oh, see, Samsung's big and evil, or Samsung, you know, I'll never buy them again. No. It's just like, again, when Apple got caught doing the battery thing, people swore up and down, I will never buy another iPhone. No, you're going to buy the next one. Stop lying. Like, you know, it doesn't happen like that. Let's see. I would call Warner Discovery Plus. There you go. Thinking going Sony for my new flagship. Interesting. See, I've never been that into the Sony ones, just because even with like all the stuff they have, I just don't see the software optimization and the updates that I would want to see. And that's why. So, like, for instance, with Samsung, I know I'm going to get 4 years of updates, right? More than any other Android manufacturer. I know that they have something called Good Lock, which allows me to customize Android beyond what stock Android can do. I know that I do have a Pro mode, and now they're competing with Sony in their new Ultra Pro Raw mode that I will never use, but they have it. And I think that was one of Sony's coolest things, is the ability to go like raw video, like true raw video, in what it can do in photos. So Sony has some really cool things for people that specialize in photography and videos. And I think that's really the big thing. But I don't see it as a mainstream competitor, and they could have been. Sony could be right up there with Samsung right now if they had taken my advice 5 years ago. And that was, allow PlayStation 1 and 2 games through PlayStation, through Sony, make an app and allow it to stream all of these games. You could have had it for free, or just a part of, you know, one of Sony's PlayStation Plus, or, you know, all this kind of stuff, and allow people to play it without being in the same house, right? Like, not like how remote play is, but allow people to do that. Let people know that they can use the PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5 controllers on Android. Yes, they're advertising it more now, but again, I said PS2 because that's when I was able to do it. I was able to connect a PS2 controller to the Galaxy S3. Sony never advertised that. So it really was a thing where Sony could have been huge. They did the Xperia Play phone. They gave it one shot and they went away. That was it. Like, it was really interesting to see why, and, you know, everything. But Sony could have been huge in that aspect if they had really put PlayStation forward instead of cameras, instead of glass, instead of these aesthetic things. And granted, great, amazing hardware, not as much software to back it up, to be quite honest. If they had done that, they could definitely have outlasted LG and HTC and be around still with Samsung. But they never did. And it's something that why Sony has such a niche market in the Japanese market, parts of Europe here and there, and like 0.05% in the US. Let's see. Otterbox really is known for protection. Yes, the webcam is really cool. How much does overclocking the S22 drain the battery? Worth it or not? It does drain the battery. I didn't use it for more than a day, so I can't say effectively an exact number. But I'll try that out this week. I'll try one day running it at its unlocked capability and seeing how it runs. Samsung never hid anything. You have all the control for apps, games, etc. Samsung update optimized service regularly too. Have used the game plugins for a game launcher for years now. Now priority mode for gaming. Not new on Exynos. Well, Exynos is very limited in terms of its areas that it has Exynos. Updated regularly released on the store. So again, they didn't disclose this list. They didn't. So they did hide this list. And again, this is coming from a person that buys everything Samsung. So like, I challenge anyone in the world right now. Okay, I challenge any non-YouTuber in the world right now that I have more Samsung stuff than them. Like, hands down. Like, I mean, I'm a person that loves Samsung products to a fault. So yeah, but they didn't again show this list, and it's not something that I will say that like I'm still going to buy Samsung products. I'm not against Samsung now or anything like that. It is fine. Like, they did what they thought was right, and they optimized certain games and benchmark tests. Remember the benchmark test for optimized too. So that is, a little bit different than optimizing just games. You're optimizing for benchmarks. So you want to get those high scores. So again, that's why they did hide that list. And they did make sure that benchmarks were one of the things that were optimized. And again, it's not something that, again, I understand why they did it. It makes sense to consumers to not run everything as fast, especially when you don't need it. It's just the way they did it. I got Gamester X2. Can't figure out, especially with the emulator game. Gamester X2. What is that? I know I've heard of Gamester X2 before. By the way, I'm still so waiting on my Steam Deck, man. I'm just so waiting on that. Okay, Gamester X2 is one of the controllers you can get for a smartphone. And what'd you say? I can't figure out, especially with emulator games. Sometimes with those, you really have to see how the manual is or check a YouTube video on it. I remember for the one I'd gotten that could fit a tablet and it was huge. There was 2 different modes, and I really had to figure out with the app that was horrible on how to map it. And it was all this kind of stuff. But once I got it figured out, it worked great. But it was definitely not user friendly, which is why I did a video for it. What doesn't Whitestone make? Maybe they'll make a VPN product that's awesome laughs, like 50 First Date Questions. All right, and with that, we have to do our shameless plug for the week, and that is 50 First Date Questions. If you haven't downloaded the game that I created, then right now is the perfect time. 50 First Date Questions allows you to have a great time on a date night, whether it be with a long-time romance or a first date. You will have amazing, amazing time on the first date. So it would be really great to do. 50 First Date Questions is available on the Android App Store and on the iOS App Store. All right. It's for updates, not years. So Android 12L, 12. Well, it came out with Android 12, so I'm not sure which one you mean, but yeah. and 14. I thought Android L 12L is only going to come, from what I've heard from developers, Android 12L is only coming to foldables and tablets. It's not actually being released. I know you can test it on certain phones right now, but you are testing it in beta. As far as I know, there is no plans to bring Android 12L to non-foldables and tablets from what I've talked to developers. I could be wrong on that, but that I'm not sure about. So that being said, again, it is you could say, yeah, 4 updates, not years. They're annual updates though, so but yeah, so, and it comes with 12, and you're getting 4 updates, not for so you don't count the one that it comes with. So, or if you're talking about last year's, then yeah, 12 out, yeah, that kind of stuff. Like the Fold, the Galaxy Fold, and they just released this 4-year thing. They just released it with this phone. So before it was 3 updates, now it's 4 updates. So that did just change. Also from last week, do you think the Pixel only has 3 years of updates because they will be switching to Fuchsia soon? That is very interesting, Mike. I would love for that to be the case. I would love to see what Fuchsia is. The promise of Fuchsia has been amazing, but it's on my Google Home for what? For those of you who don't know, Fuchsia is supposed to be the combination, essentially, of Chrome OS and Android into one. And Google's been taking a long time with it. And yeah, it is what it is. Pixel 7 Pro, too soon? Yeah, too soon. We'll get the 6A first. And I don't know this for sure, but I've heard from case manufacturers that the Pixel 6A and the iPhone SE 3 will be available in the next month or so. Or 2 months. So I'm expecting, when Google does their I/O event, that we will be hearing about the Pixel 6A because of a case manufacturer. Again, I have no other insight than that, but that's what I've heard. Regarding the E and Tech, any movies, shows to look forward to? Kind of excited about the new Dragon Ball Super movie coming out. I've still not caught up on Dragon Ball Super. I'm still at Goku Black, or is it Rose? I don't know. I forget his name. I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know yet what happens. Or I know he's from Trunks' future, something like that. But yeah, I have no idea what it's about. But yeah, I'm so far behind on that. I did see the Batman. I didn't do a review for it because I honestly haven't had the time. Still doing open houses every week to try and find the new house. So that's taken up a lot of time. I did see the Batman. I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely recommend going to see the Batman. Again, no spoilers in the chat, please. But I would definitely recommend seeing the Batman for sure. It's a really, really cool take on Batman in general. I think it was so cool, and it's definitely right up there with my top Batman movies of all time, for sure. Like, this was so good. I will say I took my daughter to see it, and she was kind of scared of it at times. So there are some jump scares and things like that nature, and it's a very dark movie, very DC. There was a meme that I posted. I don't think I posted on Twitter, but I posted, and it was Marvel movies, lights, camera, action. DC movies, camera, action. Don't need the lights. So I thought that was so apropos. Like, it was so dead on because yes, they're always dark. They're always super, super dark. And that's just the way they are. So yeah, just the way it is. And Moon Knight's coming out, and I don't know what other TV shows are coming out right now, but yeah, those are the ones. Those are my 2 ones. DC, Batman just came out. Doctor Strange is coming out next month in April. And then, of course, Moon Knight is coming out in a few weeks. I'm very excited for that one. I love Oscar Isaac so much more now. If you saw the SNL monologue. You can find it on Twitter or YouTube, I'm sure. But it was so funny. I had no idea he was Latino. And I love the joke. I am Latino as well, for those who don't know. That basically it was like, I have like 4 names, and it was like Oscar, Isaac, and I don't know what the other 2. I want to say it was Rodriguez and something else. And it was just funny because it was just like, I told Hollywood pick 2 of them, so they picked the 2 white ones. I was just like laughing. I was just like, it was so. He's just. It was the first time I saw him kind of like more open, I would say, than any other time. I think he's actually funny, and I didn't know he was really as funny. I mean, I know you see him in Star Wars and all this kind of stuff, but I thought it was really cool. On one game, I can get 7 hours and 30 minutes on the Tab S8 Plus. All app settings and shows are optimized, and you can toggle off. This is not what you think it is. And what I mean by that is the optimization that you have control of in the phone settings that I talk about every time I do a tips and tricks video still does not affect the performance in this. It's not it's different from that. It's not what you have control of. It is different from that, in that if you have that in a game unrestricted, if you have that game in the game launcher, you will still not have it optimized to run the processor at the full speed. You won't, because of their list that's in their code that it's not a part of. So again, this is not that. It doesn't run as fast as the S10 Plus and the other ones. You can watch videos on it. You can have it unrestricted. You can have it overclocked. You can do everything. And if it's not on that 100 list, it will not run faster than the S21 did. It will not run faster than the S20 did. The same game. Same thing. So, making that clear. Again, this is not what you think it is in the settings. You cannot toggle this right now, which is why Samsung apologized and said that they will be changing that so you can control it. Just clearing this up. Isn't Samsung also helping Google and Fuchsia? Yes, which is, again, why Samsung and Google working together is really smart, because together they make the best hardware and software, right? So I think together working towards this new operating system is going to be really good for it. But it does kind of suck for Pixel owners, I will say at the same time, because Samsung is going to get first dibs more than even Pixel phones will. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. But yeah, that's a good point, that Samsung is currently helping Google and Fuchsia, just like they were secretly helping them in Wear OS. So yeah. How long does updates come to an unlocked phone? Then I say a T-Mobile server. So you will still get the updates, but you will take longer to get them on T-Mobile or any carrier in the US, because the US is silly how we do our updates, and everywhere else in the world gets their updates right away. So yeah, in terms of it, you should still get the same amount, but yeah, it is what it is. Hey, Alex E, man, thank you for coming by to say hi. Hope all is well with you as well. All right, guys, on that note, I will call it a show because my contact is driving me crazy. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and coming by. And if you can, please hit a like, thumbs up button, and go ahead and check out our latest video on the Samsung S22 clear case. Let me know which is your favorite, and I'm very curious to see what other videos you want to see on the S22. We're going to have a best features of the S Pen, which I think is always underrated, so I'm going to bring that back as well. So best hidden features on the S Pen for sure, and there's one that no other, people don't do hidden features like me, so it'll be there. All right, guys, thank you guys always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.